7 years of building a life in Chicago where no one knew the girl who once cried herself to sleep because her own parents told her she was a disappointment. And then the phone rang. I was sitting alone in my sleek glass office on the 28th floor, staring at the final blueprints for the Evanston Public Library, the one with 17-foot vaulted ceilings, handcrafted oak trusses, and skylights that made the reading room feel like it was floating in sunlight. My phone vibrated on the desk. The name on the screen made my heart stop for a second. Grandma Margie. I hadn't heard her voice in years. Not since the day I left Ohio without looking back. Colette, sweetheart. Her voice was thin, fragile, like it could break any moment. The doctors say I have months now, not years. I don't want to leave this world without seeing my favorite girl one last time. Please, come home. Just for me. Tears burned my eyes before I could stop them. Grandma was the only person in that entire family who had ever truly loved me without conditions. She was the one who hugged me when my parents called me worthless. She was the one who secretly sent me money when I was struggling in college. I couldn't say no. I hung up, wiped my face, and told my partner David, I have to go back to Ohio. Family emergency. I might be gone a week. He kissed my forehead and whispered, You've come so far, baby. Don't let them pull you back down. But deep inside, I knew the truth. Going home always pulled me back down. I packed one small suitcase, drove through the night, and arrived at St. Agnes Hospital the next morning. Room 314 smelled of antiseptic and old flowers. When I walked in, Grandma's tired eyes lit up like Christmas lights. She reached out her thin arms and I fell into them, sobbing quietly against her shoulder. We talked for hours. I told her everything. About my beautiful apartment overlooking the river, about the library project that had won 3 national awards, about how I had finally become someone I was proud of. She listened with tears in her eyes and said, I've been Googling you every single day, my love. I'm so proud of the woman you've become. Then the door opened. My mother rushed in, eyes wide with fake surprise. Colette, oh my God, you're really here. She hugged me so tightly it almost felt real, but I felt the distance in her arms. Behind her stood my father, Richard, tall, stern, the same disappointed look on his face I remembered from the day I left. And then came my sister Brianna, perfectly dressed, perfectly smiling, already announcing, we're having a huge family dinner tonight to celebrate my promotion. You have to come, Colette. It's for the whole family. I tried to refuse. I'm only here for Grandma. But Grandma squeezed my hand under the blanket and whispered, just one dinner, sweetheart. For me. I want to see all my girls together before I go. Her voice cracked with love and pain, and I couldn't break her heart. I nodded. That evening, back in my childhood home, I stood in my old bedroom. It had been turned into a yoga studio. My posters were gone. My trophies were gone. There wasn't a single photo of me on the walls. It felt like I had been erased. I chose my sharpest professional outfit, a tailored black blazer over a crisp white silk blouse, perfectly fitted slacks, and the silver earrings David had given me on our anniversary. I looked in the mirror and reminded myself, you are not the girl they remember. You are Colette Sinclair now. In the car, Brianna wouldn't stop talking. She kept bragging about her promotion to senior director and the massive merger with some small Chicago architecture firm called Harlow and Reeve. She said the new managing principal was flying in from Chicago and that her life was about to change forever. My father kept glancing at me in the rearview mirror, his voice low and threatening. Make tonight easy for everyone, Colette. Don't ruin your sister's moment. You've already embarrassed this family enough by running away 7 years ago. I stayed quiet. The pain of those words cut deep, but I had learned long ago how to hide it. We arrived at the Lantern, the fanciest steakhouse in town. The entire extended family was there, aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, even Pastor Tim. Grandma was wheeled in slowly, looking so small and fragile, but her eyes found mine across the room and she smiled like I was her whole world. My father stood up first, raising his glass high. Tonight we celebrate Brianna's well-deserved promotion. Not everyone has to run off to Chicago chasing silly dreams. Some of us stay and build real success right here. The whole table laughed and clapped. Then the questions started pouring in. Pastor Tim turned to me with a polite smile. So, Colette, what have you been doing these days? Before I could even open my mouth, Brianna jumped in with that sweet but poisonous smile I knew too well. Oh, she basically does admin work back in Chicago. You know, answering phones, running the copier, keeping the office organized. She's always been happier staying behind the scenes, not in the spotlight. Laughter erupted around the table. That sounds perfect for her, Aunt Patricia said loudly. She was never one for big things anyway. Brianna kept going, her voice full of pride. She talked about her engagement to Brett, about the upcoming merger, about how the tiny Chicago firm was nothing special, just some academic place. My parents smiled proudly and announced they were transferring the family lake house to Brianna and Brett because Colette made her choices 7 years ago when she left us. Every word felt like a knife twisting in my chest. I could feel the old shame rising. The same shame I felt when they told me I was ruining the family image, when they said I would never amount to anything. Grandma reached under the table and squeezed my hand tightly, her fingers trembling with love and silent support. Later, in the hallway, my parents cornered me. My father's face was red with anger. Why are you sitting there like a statue? He hissed. You're embarrassing all of us. Just smile, congratulate your sister, and stop making this night about you. My mother's eyes were wet with tears. We just want the family to look good, Colette. Is that too much to ask? I looked at them calmly, my voice steady even though my heart was pounding. I'll speak when I'm ready. Back at the table, Brianna wouldn't let it go. She leaned forward, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. So tell us, Colette, what exactly is your job title? We're all dying to know. That was the moment. I reached into my bag, pulled out a crisp folder, and slid a single sheet of paper across the white tablecloth toward her. The entire room went silent as Brianna picked it up and started reading aloud. Her voice started strong, then slowly faded into shock with every word. Today, Caldwell and Partners proudly announces its merger with Harlow and Reeve Architects. Effective immediately, Colette Sinclair will serve as the new managing principal of the combined firm, leading all operations across both cities. At that exact second, Daniel Reeve, the founding partner of Harlow and Reeve, walked up to our table with a warm, professional smile. Colette, there you are. Congratulations on the merger. The senior director reviews will begin next week. I'm looking forward to working even closer with you as we move forward. The table froze in complete silence. Brianna's face turned ghostly white. Her hands started shaking so badly the paper rattled. Tears of mascara ran down her cheeks. My mother's hand flew to her mouth in horror. My father turned bright red, his fists clenched on the table. You planned this humiliation, he growled at me. I shook my head slowly, my voice calm and clear. I came here only for Grandma. I never planned anything. You all kept asking. You kept pushing. I simply stopped hiding who I am after 7 years of silence. Brianna stood up so fast her chair crashed backward. This can't be real. You work for me. Daniel Reeve corrected her politely but firmly. Actually, after the merger, all senior directors will now report through the new structure under Colette's leadership. Congratulations again, Colette. The rest of the night turned into chaos. Brianna stormed out crying. My mother broke down in tears, asking why I couldn't have just lied to protect the family image. Pastor Tim quietly apologized to me. Aunt Patricia looked ashamed for the first time. Later that night, as I sat alone with Grandma sharing tiramisu in the hospital cafeteria, she held my hand tightly and whispered through her tears, "The family you're born into isn't always the family you end up with, my darling. Blood doesn't make a family, love does. You didn't come here for revenge tonight. You came for me. And I am so proud of the strong, brilliant woman you've become." In the days that followed, Brianna begged me in the hospital hallway not to let her lose her job. My father visited Grandma and announced he was cutting me out of the family trust fund forever. But Grandma overruled him with a strength I didn't know she still had and left her beautiful house on Linen Street to me instead. 3 days later, I drove back to Chicago. I stood by the river at sunset, watching the city lights sparkle on the water, feeling a deep peace I hadn't known in years. I hadn't ruined the family image that night. I had finally stopped hiding the woman I had fought so hard to become. And sometimes, that quiet truth is the most powerful thing you can ever do.